Imagine standing over a soccer ball, right? And you have the weight of the entire world on your shoulders.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure is just unimaginable.
Exactly. The stadium is deafening. The defensive wall is frantically lining up. But, and this is the crazy part, the opposing goalkeeper isn't even looking at you.
Right, because he's terrified of the guy next to you.
Yes. He is visibly terrified of the 41-year-old living legend standing right next to you who is, simply acting as a decoy.
It's just brilliant.
It really is. Today, we are looking at a masterclass in psychological warfare, tactical dismantling, and historic longevity. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We are plunging into a highly anticipated 2026 World Cup Group K showdown. This is the one in Houston, Texas, where Portugal faced off against Uzbekistan.
And, to set the stage immediately, we are not looking at a gritty, nail-biting draw here.
No, definitely not.
We are unpacking a decisive, overwhelming 5-0 blowout by Portugal. But a scoreline like that doesn't just happen by accident. And it rarely happens through pure, unadulterated talent alone. I mean, it requires a systematic breaking down of the opponent's physical and mental structures.
Which is exactly our mission today. We are going to analyze the granularly tactical decisions on the pitch, the shifting dynamic between these specific players, and a monumental, record-breaking moment in sports history that unfolded in that Texas heat.
It's a huge moment.
It really is. So whether you live and breathe modern soccer tactics or you are simply fascinated by human endurance and the architecture of peak performance, there's a masterclass buried in this match.
Yeah, it serves as a brilliant case study in how a top-tier team absorbs pressure, calculates risk, and ultimately, dictates the fundamental reality of the game.
So let's start with the opening whistle. Houston is sweltering. Portugal steps onto the pitch in an all-red kit, and Uzbekistan immediately faces a tactical dilemma.
A huge dilemma.
Right, because when an underdog steps onto the grass against an absolute powerhouse, the conventional wisdom is often to just park the bus.
Literally putting all 11 men behind the ball.
Exactly, forming those rigid, deep defensive walls and just trying to survive the onslaught. But Uzbekistan takes a completely different route.
They really did.
Early on, Portuguese veteran Cancelo receives the ball, and he is immediately suffocated by an aggressive high press from the Uzbek forwards. They are pushing high up the pitch, trying to steal the ball deep in Portuguese territory.
It is an incredibly audacious opening strategy. I mean, a high press is designed to deny the opponent time and space.
Yeah.
You are trying to induce panic.
Yeah.
You want to force a misplaced pass near their own goal so you can capitalize instantly.
Right, catch them off guard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But doing this against a team with the technical pedigree of Portugal is a massive high-stakes gamble.
I have to push back on that a little bit, though. In modern soccer, isn't a high press essentially the default?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at top club teams, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, they press relentlessly all the time. Why is it suddenly a wild gamble for Uzbekistan to employ the exact same tactic?
That is a really crucial distinction to make. When a team like Manchester City presses, it is a highly coordinated, mathematically precise system.
Oh, like they practice it every day.
Exactly. It's honed over years of daily club training. They press using specific spatial triggers. So if an opponent turns his body a certain way, 3 players move in unison to cut off the passing lanes.
Okay, that makes sense.
But international soccer is different. National teams only train together for, a few weeks a year.
Right, they don't have that same connection.
Yeah, they rarely have the geometric cohesion required to execute a flawless press. If even one player in that pressing structure is half a step slow or misreads a trigger, a massive gap opens up.
So if that single weak link breaks, the veteran team just passes right through it.
Exactly.
It makes me think of a boxer coming out in the first round and just throwing wild, undisciplined haymakers.
That's a great way to put it.
If you don't land that early knockout punch and genuinely rattle the champion, you're going to exhaust yourself and leave your guard completely down for a devastating counterattack.
And you really have to factor in the physiological cost of that aggression, too.
Yeah.
An aggressive press requires players to make continuous high-intensity sprints.
In that Houston heat, no less.
Exactly. They are rapidly accumulating lactic acid and building up an oxygen debt in the sweltering heat. Against a veteran defensive line, this is exactly what Portugal wants.
Wow.
Yeah, players like Cancelo, they do not panic under pressure. They hold the ball, invite the Uzbek players to sprint at them, and pass the ball at the absolute last microsecond in a coordinated triangle.
They are essentially playing a giant game of bull and matador, right? Letting the aggressive energy work against the pressing team.
Precisely.
And the physical toll of that relentless chasing eventually leads to desperation. Legs get heavy, tackles get slightly clumsy, and that desperation results in a foul just outside the penalty box.
A huge mistake.
Yeah, which brings us to a critical inflection point in the match.
The free kick. This is where the physical game briefly pauses and the psychological game takes over entirely. The tension in the stadium is palpable. You have a free kick in an incredibly dangerous area, and 2 Portuguese players are standing over the ball. Nuno Mendes and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah.
Let's break down the mental warfare happening here. How much of defending a set piece in this specific scenario is purely psychological?
It is an agonizing cognitive overload for the defending team. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of the Uzbek goalkeeper.
Okay.
Modern goalkeeping relies heavily on predictive biomechanics. You watch the kicker's hips, their plant foot, and their run-up to anticipate where the ball will go.
Like trying to read their mind before they even kick it.
Exactly. But here, You are staring at two entirely different threats.
Wow, yeah.
If Ronaldo takes it, you are mentally preparing for a specific type of strike, perhaps a knuckleball that dips viciously over the wall.
Right.
But if Mendes, a left-footed player, takes it, you are calculating completely different angle, spin, and trajectory.
So your brain is trying to process two completely different physics equations at the exact same time?
Yeah. And the human brain simply cannot commit fully to two contradictory actions at once.
That cognitive dissonance creates micro-hesitations.
Yeah.
The players in the defensive wall might jump a fraction of a second too late because they aren't sure who is striking the ball.
Oh, wow.
And the goalkeeper might shift his weight half an inch to the wrong foot. And in elite soccer, a half-inch shift in weight is all a world-class striker needs.
And we saw exactly how that hesitation is punished. It ends up being Mendes who takes the kick, and he doesn't curl it or loop it over the wall. He drills it low and hard directly into the net.
Drilling a shot like that implies immense power and a direct, unforgiving trajectory.
Yeah.
You can only successfully drill a ball past a defensive wall and an elite goalkeeper if you have caught them completely flat-footed.
And they were.
The decoy worked to perfection. Mendes capitalized on the immense psychological gravity of his legendary teammate to find the exact microscopic margin he needed to break the seal.
But Mendes exploiting that micro-hesitation doesn't just put Portugal up 1-0. It fundamentally alters the entire tactical landscape of the match.
It changes everything.
Suddenly, Uzbekistan's gamble has completely failed. They are down a goal, their players are exhausted from chasing shadows in the heat, and they can no longer afford to recklessly press high.
Right.
They are forced to retreat and drop their defensive line deeper, and that shift creates the exact tactical environment a veteran predator needs to operate.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the main attraction. With the defense now sitting deeper and the space compressed in the final third, the game shifts from a track meet into a chess match.
The legend announces his arrival. Ronaldo finds his moment, stepping up to score a truly wonderful goal. And with that strike, he officially becomes the first player in the history of the sport to score in 6 different World Cups. 6.
It is just unreal. It completely redefines the parameters of sporting greatness.
I agree.
I mean, the World Cup, by design, is a tournament of generations that only happens every 4 years.
Right, so you have to wait so long between them.
Exactly. So to score in 6 of them means you have not only maintained your place on a national squad for over 2 decades, but you have consistently remained the lethal focal point of your country's attack on the largest stage imaginable.
It's an incredible statistic, but I want to get past the number itself for a second.
Sure.
We can easily applaud a cool stat, but what is the actual biological and tactical machinery behind this? What does it take, physically and mechanically, to stay at the absolute pinnacle of a demanding global sport across a 20-year span?
It requires a ruthless, fundamental reinvention of your own biomechanics and playstyle.
How so?
Well, the physiological reality is that a 41-year-old body simply does not possess the explosive, fast-twitch muscle fibers of a 22-year-old.
Right, you just naturally slow down.
Exactly. You lose that initial burst of acceleration. You lose your top-end sprint speed. If a player tries to rely on the physical tools of their youth as they age, they become obsolete very quickly.
So how exactly do you manipulate elite 20-something defenders if you can no longer outrun them?
You weaponize your spatial awareness. You stop relying on outrunning defenders and start out thinking the geometric shifts of their defensive line.
Oh, that's interesting.
Instead of taking the ball to wing and trying to sprint past 3 players, you become a master of the blind spot.
The blind spot, okay.
Yeah, a veteran player learns how to position themselves exactly in the seam between the center back and the fullback, where neither defender is quite sure whose responsibility it is to track the run.
Ah, creating confusion.
Exactly. You wait for the exact fraction of a second when the defender turns their head to look at the ball, and you step into the space they just vacated.
Wow.
It is a masterclass in energy conservation. You only expend your physical energy when the probability of scoring is at its absolute highest.
It's prioritizing efficiency over exertion.
Exactly.
But there is also the psychological element, right? The sheer hunger of it. We saw that he explicitly pushed for a hat trick later in this very game, ultimately being denied by a spectacular leaping save from the goalkeeper.
An amazing save, by the way.
Seriously. But how do you maintain that level of rabid motivation when you have already won everything, broken every record, and your team is already cruising to a victory?
That is what separates generational talents from historical anomalies.
Okay.
It is a psychological resilience that defies the normal human trajectory. Most people, once they achieve mastery and secure their legacy, naturally succumb to a degree of satisfaction or complacency.
Right, they kind of coast a little bit.
Exactly. To wake up every single day for over 2 decades, submit your aging body to grueling recovery regimens, endure microscopic media scrutiny, and still possess a burning, almost irrational desire to score a 3rd goal in a group stage match. I mean, that is a rare psychological profile.
It's obsessive.
It is. It's an obsessive pursuit of perfection that never actually satiates.
It's fascinating. But as much as this game cements a legendary individual legacy, a 5-0 blowout is never just a one-man show.
Never.
As the match wears on, we see the anatomy of a complete systemic collapse by Uzbekistan, driven entirely by Portugal's relentless supporting cast.
A blowout of this magnitude requires attacking the opponent from every conceivable angle, physically and mentally, until their structural integrity shatters.
We see that structural shattering play out perfectly in the final 3 goals. First, we have Joao Felix aggressively winning the ball back.
Yeah.
Then there is an incredible moment resulting in what is described as the scruffiest of goals. Ronaldo closes down the play, the ball bounces wildly in the penalty area, and he is literally juggling it amidst defenders before it somehow goes in.
It was pure chaos.
Total chaos. After that, we see Bruno Fernandes operating as the central architect, constantly finding space and feeding the forwards. And finally, Raphael Leao comes on and just smashes in the fifth goal with pure, overwhelming power.
That sequence highlights perfectly how Portugal utilizes distinct player profiles to systematically break an opponent.
Also,
Well, when an attacking forward like Joao Felix sprints 50 yards backwards to aggressively tackle and win the ball, it mentally breaks the opposing midfielders.
oh, because he's a forward doing the dirty work.
Exactly. It sends a message that even Portugal's flair players are willing to outwork you in the gritty defensive phases.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you have Bruno Fernandes, who operates like a central processing unit. He identifies the massive gaps left behind by Uzbekistan's exhausted, disorganized midfield and clinically threads passes through those fractures.
Like a surgeon.
Right. And introducing Raphael Leao late in the game is almost unfair.
Oh, I bet.
You are injecting pure, youthful, explosive speed against a defensive line that has been chasing shadows for 80 minutes.
That's just brutal.
The contrast between Ronaldo's calculated, energy-conserving movements and Leone's raw, overwhelming pace stretches the defense beyond its breaking point.
Which brings me to that scruffy goal with the juggling in the box. I want to look at this through the lens of a submarine.
Okay, that's all right.
Stay with me here. If a team gives up a breathtaking 30-yard screaming strike into the top corner, it's like a submarine taking a direct hit from a high-tech torpedo.
Right, totally unavoidable.
Exactly. It's devastating, sure, but it is an external force of nature. You can shrug it off and say, well, nothing we could do about that. But a scruffy goal feels different.
How do you mean?
It feels like the crew simply forgot to seal a pressure hatch, and the submarine is sinking because of internal negligence. Am I off base here, or does a messy, chaotic goal actually demoralize a team worse than a spectacular one?
No, your submarine analogy is brilliantly accurate because it gets to the core of defensive geometry.
Defensive geometry.
Yeah. Modern defense is an incredibly precise system of spatial relationships. Every player is tethered to the others by invisible tactical strings, maintaining specific distances to deny space.
Okay.
When a team concedes a 30-yard screamer, that geometric system was likely still intact. They were just beaten by unguardable individual brilliance.
So the system held, but the talent overcame it.
Precisely. But a scruffy goal, a scenario where an opposing striker has the time and space to literally juggle the ball inside your own penalty area.
Yeah, that's just embarrassing.
Exactly. That means the entire geometric grid of the defense has collapsed into isolated individual panic. The structural integrity has failed.
Wow.
The defenders have stopped communicating, they have lost their spatial awareness, and they're simply reacting to the bouncing ball rather than defending as a unified entity.
It's worse mentally.
Oh, it is profoundly demoralizing. It forces the team to realize that the failure wasn't just physical. It was a total systemic breakdown of focus and discipline.
It signals to everyone in the stadium that the attacking team is now completely dictating the terms of reality on the pitch.
Yeah, it's game over at that point.
Which brings us to the final whistle. The match in Houston concludes, and the scoreboard cements a devastating reality. Portugal 5, Uzbekistan 0.
A statement win.
For sure. Though, as an amusing side note, if you were relying on the automated YouTube transcripts of the highlight reel, the speech-to-text algorithm hilariously registered the final score as Portugal 5 as Pakistan 0.
Oh man, the inevitable perils of relying on artificial intelligence to decode a commentator screaming over a stadium of 80,000 deafening fans.
Seriously. A good reminder that human error isn't just limited to the pitch. But automated glitches aside, the reality we witnessed today was an absolute tactical masterclass.
It really was.
We saw an underdog's audacious, aggressive high press systematically dismantled by veteran patience and passing triangles. We witnessed the mental cognitive overload of a dual-threat free kick, where a legend's mere presence as a decoy created the micro-hesitation needed to break the game open.
And it was beautiful to watch.
It was. We watched a suffocating supporting cast utilize everything from defensive work rates to demoralizing scruffy goals to shatter an opponent's structural geometry.
And,